was on time. Just like so Daniel down in the lion's den. Wasn't he on time? Shut the lights on. As the three Hebrew boys down in the fiery furnace. Oh, right on time. He stepped in the flames. Who the flame? Anybody here know? God is right on time.
Praise God for the victory. This is just wonderful. I'm happy about what God is doing and what he's going to continue to do. I got to preach a message to you tonight. Where am I at? Yes. It's saying to God's people, if we want to stay holy, there's things we got to do. If you go around a lot of dirt, you're going to have some dirt on you. But when you stay in the place that's holy and clean and righteous, it can't help but have a positive effect in your life. And I was thankful today. Mont sent a long text message to Nisi about 1:30 this morning. And when she got up, she come in and said, Mama, read what Mont sent me this morning. And he had a dream last night. His back was hurting him really bad. I prayed for him over the phone, and he prayed himself off to sleep. And in the dream, he said, I came to him and said, he's telling the Lord, I'll do whatever you want me to do, no matter what it is. I'll do it. And he said, and then I said, are you willing to preach? And he said, I'll do anything. I'll do anything. I figured pretty much that was a preacher in the making. I didn't say nothing to him about it. So he got in the text, should I tell Mama this? Yeah, you should tell me. You ain't going to just sit back, sure. Yeah, and in the dream, he gets his first message. What do you see? And I said that's going to be a great message. I'm looking forward to him. I'll put him up very soon. Give him a chance to kind of get used to the idea. I think when you live with the preacher and you see all the things that happen in ministry, nobody's ready to jump on board with this. But let me tell you something. When you do, if God called you to preach, honey, do it. This is the greatest honor in the whole world. I said to Mom today, there is no greater honor than what God can give any person than to trust you with his word. His word is everything to him. I mean, he's going to change seasons and times and situations because of his name. And that you trust me to take your name to people who need to be delivered and set free. What an honor that is. Sure, it has the fire that goes with it, but hey, all the blessings outweigh all of it. I am so thankful tonight for what he's doing. I told one, I said, God is setting the stage, changing things, putting things in order. He knows what he's doing. And I'm just sitting back watching him. What else are you going to do? You don't have to tell me everything. I'm going to sit here and just look at it and know without a doubt that, hey, he knows what he's doing. When he don't explain it to you, trust him. Trust him. Who would have ever thought a kid like this, of all kids? No. And God said, I got something. No wonder he told him, I pursued you. I came after you. And you know what? Only God can go after nothing and turn it into something. Thank God for the victory. It's good to be here tonight. I am happy about what God is doing. It's amazing. Oh, Cliff, I wanted to ask you this before I start this message. You know when the monkeys are on TV, on these channels, what are they looking for when they get up on the monkey and do like this? Hold on a minute. Say what? So, and they pick those bugs out to what is that for? Why do they pick it out? Oh, right. I kind of like that. I was thinking about that when I thought about this message tonight. I meant to ask you before church. And I was looking over at you, and I thought, I ain't got enough time. So one said, just ask when you get up. I said, yeah, that's true. So I always see him doing it. They be right down at it, I mean, doing it. After a while, he pick it out, and I didn't know they ate it. Boy, the message I'm giving you tonight, I'm picking it out, but I ain't eating it. Yes. Listen to this. This is Leviticus. The 13th chapter says, 44th verse say, if a man, 43rd verse, then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the rising of the sore be white, reddish, in his bald head, or in his bald forehead, as the leprosy appeareth in the skin of the flesh. He is a leprous man. He is unclean. The priest shall pronounce him utterly unclean. His plague is in his head. And the leper in whom the plague is, his clothes shall be rent, and his head bare. And he shall put a covering upon his upper lip, and shall cry, unclean, unclean. All the days wherein the plague shall be in him, he shall be defiled, he is unclean. He shall dwell alone without the camp, shall his habitation be. And the garment also that the plague of leprosy is in, whether it be a woolen garment or a linen garment, whether it be in the warp or woof of linen, or of woolen, whether in a skin or anything made of skin. And if the plague be greenish or reddish in the garment or in the skin, either in the warp or in the woof, or in anything of skin, it is a plague of leprosy, and shall be showed unto the priest. When the Lord gave me this message, I thought to myself, the preacher, the priest, is one that is doing the diagnosis. Because you know what, man goes through all kind of stuff and not even knowing what he is and who he is. And when I begin to look at this, I read through this whole thing, but I don't have time to get to all of it. But I read that and I thought to myself, that's what our job is. Our job is to get close enough to look and see what's wrong with you. So if the preacher doesn't have a place with God to see and to hear, we'll never be able to pick it out. We'll never see it because those little bugs, those monkeys are trying to get to you. You don't readily see them. That's why they part the hair like this. They're down there. That's what God be saying to people in this church. There's a bug in there. And it needs to come out. And he says, so when they groom each other, they become bonded. You should bond with your leader. Thank God for the victory. Yes. You going in there and finding things I don't know is there. You look good. You look well groomed. Except when you dig down in those little bitty places that's not easily seen. There you see little things that if you don't get rid of these things, you're going to have problems. Spiritually speaking, this is going to happen to every person unless they're willing to be diagnosed by the priest. That's why he said, I made you a leader. I made you one to see. If a leader can't see, have mercy, God. If we can't tell when something is wrong, have mercy, God. We got to be able to look around and say, that's not right. Something's wrong with you. And then the word begins to dig down in those closed places and little narrow spots that nobody can readily see. But when you dig in there, you think, oh, this is what's causing that. When you go to the doctor and you get a diagnosis, you don't go in and say, well, so doctor, I don't believe what you just said. Well, what are you here for? How does he know? When he sees, he hears the symptoms. He listens to all these things. So what is it that he knows that you don't know? So when you go to the doctor, you say, well, my throat is sore or this is happening and I don't feel good here and, it bothers me in my ears and all this stuff. And he's going to say, sounds like this. Sounds like you might have an infection. Sounds like there may be some virus. There's a virus going around. Sin is always going around. There's sin everywhere. You can't not go to a place in the country where sin is not. The only place you can make safe for God is your dwelling place. But everything outside of that, you don't have any control over. You go to work every day with a bunch of heathens and sinners that, they don't care what. They really don't care. Every day you go to work with these people. I'm glad I don't have to. There you listen to cursing and swearing and all kind of stuff and gossip and all this crap. By the time you get home, that's why you need to go have a prayer meeting. Say, Lord, wash me. Make me clean. Check me out. So all through this, read in Leviticus, it's talking about how the priest had to look. And if the leprosy looked like this, you had to do this. If it looked like that, you could put them out for 7 days. If it looks like this, you do it this way. It went from one thing to another. If it's reddish, if it's white, if it's a sore, if it's this, if it's that. So when the preacher gets in the pulpit and say, what's wrong with you? Nothing, you're a liar. And sitting there just as bug-eyed looking crazy. And he said, something is wrong with you. Sometimes I'll go home and I find myself thinking, and I go back, my mind goes back over the church. Something's wrong with that person. What is it? So God's going to give it to me. See, after a while, I come to you and say, you're not doing good. Me? Yeah, Stu. Yeah, you're not doing good. Because somehow, unless you get the proper diagnosis, you're going to get worse. Things are going to get worse. They're not going to get better. We must do something about this. As the doctor told Nisi, I was sitting in the room when the doctor was outside the window, a bunch of them together, looking at this x-ray, CAT scan, whatever it was, of her brain. And I looked at their faces. I thought, that's serious, the way they were looking. It was about maybe 5 or 6 doctors out there. Finally, he comes in and says, you got this mass in your head. We got to get it out. We got to get that out of there. Why? Because if we don't, you're going to die. So that's the way it is spiritually. You come and you say, you better get rid of that. Now, it looks like it's no danger right now, but that's going to kill you. Because what the devil does, I was telling somebody this the other day, he always comes very small, just like them little bugs on them animals. You can't see that. See, if the devil came as the devil, big as life, we can say the devil is a lie, but he don't come that way. He comes in a way that you don't detect it. Who detects it? The leader. The leader sees something is not right. That's why you keep having these problems. So when you go to the doctor, you tell them I'm having headaches, I get sick to my stomach, my balance is off, and all these things, they get an idea of what it is. What I don't like about it, they don't always level with you and tell you what it is right away. I don't know if they're trying to figure out if you can handle it. I mean, if I'm getting ready to die tomorrow, go ahead and tell me. I can have some chicken Kool-Aid today. Tell me. Don't just let me sit around. This is my last day. Hey, fill me in, baby. Tell me what's wrong. So I look at that and I think, if you understood what sin can do to you in a very subtle way, you don't even know it's present. As Brenda said the other day, I didn't even know that. But then if you receive the truth, then it's like all of a sudden God goes to bring it into your mind. Look at that. That's what was going on. This is what was going on. That's what had you bound up. That's had you where you were. But if you don't accept the diagnosis, you don't get better. The devil says, hey, I got a good thing going here because I didn't let them know where I was at. That's why he doesn't like me. Because I come to church every time and look around. Checking out every section. And these eyes ain't just roaming for nothing. This is radar here, honey. You're on radar pretty soon. And if I don't tell you at church, I get home and say, hey, thought I'd call you. You know, you're off. Whatever the devil is doing with you right now, it's going to destroy you. And you say, I don't even feel like anything is wrong. Believe the leader. And if you've been with this leader as long as you have, as long as you've been with me, some of 40 and 50 years, you know Sister Rose ain't just talking off the top of her head. So don't look at me and act like I got the problem. You got the problem. But if you don't get rid of that little tiny thing down there that's eating the life out of you, sucking the life out. When we were kids, we used to have what they call chinches. They ain't number bed bugs. Them nasty little buzzards. You know what they did? They wouldn't eat on you during the day. And they would hide in the crevice of the mattress. Everybody's mattress, for the most part, has got this little coil running around the top of it and down the bottom and on the side. They hide out. You don't see them. Don't go to sleep. Them things start biting on your rear end so bad, it's unbelievable. You laying there in the bed thinking. And you know what they did? They sucked your blood. And if you kill one of them, nothing comes out but blood. Whose blood is that? Yours. That's what the devil does to you. He hides out. And spiritually speaking, when you go to sleep, he comes out and starts sucking your blood. Now, somebody better recognize he's in that mattress. Somebody better recognize he will do you a job. That thing will, we used to have little red bumps everywhere. They had a feast. So that's the way the devil does people. That's why he said to Peter, Satan desires you, that he can sift you as wheat. I used to watch my grandmother when they were getting ready to make a cake or whatever, and they put the flour. You don't see that anymore. They put the flour in the sifter, and they would do this. And a real fine dusting of flour would come out. But you know what? Keep shaking it. After a while, you'll have a little peak of flour that's been shaken. You look back in that sifter, ain't nothing but hard stuff left in there. So what the devil wants, I want to get all the good out and leave you with something bad. Because see, whatever's left in you, you ain't got nothing. God can't work with that hard stuff. He says, sift out the good. You got to watch him and say, you're not doing that to me. But you know what? Many of the people of God would not be in the spiritual state of deterioration if they would just listen and follow the rule from the beginning. You were told that how many years ago? How long were you told this is what this was coming to? How long were you told if you continue not to follow the truth, if you continue to resist it, if you continue to say, that's not me? Quit lying to yourself. And I have no reason to lie to you. I have no reason to. Do me a favor. Shorter straw, but smaller, not so with a big hole. Every time I suck out of it, I drop some. Okay. So now, the priest says, put him out. And you know why he told him to close? Put something over his mouth, because the saliva coming from a leper will contaminate you. That's why you don't let the heathen get in your ear talking to you. The saliva is contagious. So cover your mouth and say, unclean. Unclean, that means don't come over here. Stay away from people that are unclean. Stay away from people that's unholy, that's unrighteous. They will contaminate your spirit till when you come to the house of God, you don't even know you have already received it, and it's in your spirit. And that's what I deal with people a lot of times. It's in your spirit. They think it's like here. No, in the spirit of man. That's where the devil works. He's not worried about this. I need to get into the heart and the soul of who you are. And I need to plant a seed that you will never forget. Listen to me. I saw the seed when it first went there. And I'll say sometimes that's going to be a problem for that person. That's going to cost them if they don't get that. So you go to them and you say, look, this little thing the devil is doing to you, and as long as you say it's not me, you never receive truth. Truth makes me free. So if I deny it, if I speak against it, hey, I ain't going to get better. I'm going to get worse. There's no getting around that. I was telling Juan about Zach today. I said, you know, Juan, Zach is changing. He's sitting at his face is pleasant. He was so mad with me about the truth. I ain't going to church with Mama Rose. You know what she called me today? I called him a name. But that's a name shouldn't have got to him that bad because we do that in the ghetto all the time. But boy, he got rough with me. He said, how long you stay out, Jack? About 4 Sundays? It was a good little bit there. It's just that coming to church. I ain't gonna Mama Rose come calling me. You know what she called me? But it was the truth. It was the truth. And you know what? I couldn't grasp the fact that he got that uptight because in the ghetto, that's the way we talk. So that's not like something way out weird somewhere. But it was like, it's so much the truth, I can't stand you. And Trish said, well, you got to understand, Mama Rose, she done seen your stuff before. She was like this, and this is over here. And he just ain't going to church. Going to church? He's like, no, I ain't going to church. But he come back. He's changing. What's wrong with that man? Are you restless for some reason? You restless? You, yeah. You good? Okay, because you keep moving from place to place. And no worries? Okay, I accept that. Okay? Yeah, but look, even though there was hesitation, but at the end of the day, when all this settles down in you, Mama Rose wasn't trying to hurt me. Yeah, I think I'll go back to church. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to get them little nasty bugs that's down in the little places that you never look there. You know, if you take a bath, you better get every crease, every little place, get it all cleaned up. If you don't, after a while, you're going to have some fungus somewhere. That's a fact. You got to clean up. Get everything. So I can come out really clean. I used to tell my husband when he's in the tub, he rubs so hard. I said, honey, you ain't that dirty. And sometimes I've seen him bruise himself from just rubbing it, cleaning it, just going all over. And I think, honey, it's okay. I mean, you wasn't going to find that much on him. Never bad smell. Can't deal with that. You know what? If I don't get them little bugs out of you, you're going to start stinking. And people sitting by you going to say, you smell something? It's you. The devil is setting you up for a kill. And here's what he does to people. He does it in a way so that you still feel comfortable. You still feel good. And you say, hey, where's Nelson? There he is. Nelson came out with Old Glory from Germany. He was in the church in Germany. He started Old Glory and way back there. But one day he got up. And I listened. I said, what's wrong with that Old Glory? It's dead. It used to be alive. He said, Old Glory. Everybody felt it. His Old Glories started drying up. I think I told Arlene, I said, you need to tell Nelson, Glory is dead. He's still hollering, but he's dead. You know, like Samson said, he don't realize how much damage has been done. But Samson was a stupid man. He was caught up in his own love affair with women. And so How could you not know that you were being set up when she tells you every time? And you're still there? Something's wrong with that. That's what the devil do, people. Well, I'm still shouting, I speak in tongues. What kind of tongues? The devil got a tongue. Everything that God's got, the devil has something, a counterfeit, just like it. That's why when I hear it, that ain't God. The devil's tongue is funny, strange. I heard Bishop J. ta-da-ba-ta. I thought that ain't God. It ain't God. You walking across there ugly as ever and talking about ta-ta-ta. I thought that is not God. You can do that without the Holy Ghost. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. That ain't the tongues of the Holy Ghost. You got to be able to discern that. So sometimes because you still waving your hands and you still hollering and every once in a while you take a run. That doesn't mean he's not eating away at you. You still jumping. Samson said, I'll just go out like I did before and I'll shake myself. And it'll be like it was before. I just shake myself. The strength to come back. It didn't come back. One day you'll get up and say, I'm just going to shake myself and worship God. You find out he departed. He left you. You're out there alone. You are not. God's not with you. That's why some of these churches got Ichabod wrote over the door. You know what is it? God has departed. He departs out of your life. If you continue to reject him, continue to go down the same path, he's going to reject you at some point until you decide in your own heart, I refuse to be leprous with sin. Sin does not stay small in your life. It escalates. You get a little something there, it escalates. So what you got to look at is that, okay, if God told the priest, you look at it. You diagnose it. He knew what he was looking for. So every stage of leprosy, he understood what he was looking for. If it's red, if it's like this, if the skin is this way, if it's that way, that's the way leaders are. If they're in touch with God. What's wrong with you? And sometimes they look real surprised and real stupid. Me? Yeah. The devil's getting ready to cut your throat. You know what he does? He's got you in the position to cut your throat. But you don't know that unless somebody tell you. Unless God speaks to somebody. Because if he's got that kind of control over you, you're not going to recognize you're almost dead. I told you about Miss, what's her name that was in the church? Yeah, Miss Liz. Yeah. I had a dream. And in the dream, she was in this muddy water. And I came to rescue her. And this demon, I mean the devil himself, he had her holding on to her. And when I tried to move toward her, he raised up like, this is mine. Don't you even dare. And so I went closer. And her eyes was kind of bugged out. And I said, I reached for her. And he took her and slammed her under this muddy water. And he held her there until she died. Now, Miss Liz didn't have good eyesight in the natural. And so I went to her, I said, Liz, I had this terrible dream about you. He says, Sister Rose, don't worry about it because, honey, he's not getting me. Yes, he is. He's not getting you. He's got you already. Listen. She backslid. She went away. But she said she wasn't. The thing is, she didn't realize how far gone she was. You go to the doctor and they diagnose you with cancer. There's a stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. So if you got stage 1, they're saying, okay, we can help you with that. Stage 2, well, it's not good. Stage 3 is not good. But if they tell you stage 4, that means if God don't work a miracle, you're dead. That means we can't bring this back. sin is the same way. That's why leprosy was shown in these different stages, looking certain looks on them. Some of them got a scab on it, some of this, some of that. I wish I could get into it, but it would take too much time. And so all these different things. So the priest is looking for it. Come here, let me take a look at you. Because he's the one that's going to say whether you are clean or you're unclean. You're either righteous or you're not. You're either holy or you're not. He's going to diagnose you. Don't throw away the diagnosis. Don't say, I just don't believe that. I'm not that kind of person. Don't do that. The devil says, I don't need you to be that kind of person. I turn people into what I want them to be. What you never was before. You are now. He says, oh, I would have never been a traitor, even unsaved. The devil said, I don't care. I got a lot of people in hell that was never traitors. I turned them into one. He took the woman that won me to the Lord. That woman had such a place with God. I coveted that place. And wow. Ooh, every time she'd tell me things, she'd be sitting up in a room and God would show her things. And she said it would look like if that wall is there, that wall would turn into a complete blank screen. And the whole picture of what's going on would be on that wall. And she's looking like this. Oh, no. I was trying to think of his name the other day, Brother Reed. That was his name. She saw the whole thing being set up by the devil with him and Sister Joe. Sister Joe was married to an older man, I guess around close to 60 years old, ready for retirement, or he was still in the army. So I'd say maybe he was in the late 50s. But she saw the whole picture on the wall. And she was looking, I was sitting there, I always admired that. I would sit there and look, I said, what are you seeing? She wouldn't tell me right there. She kept looking. She said, Joe and Brother Reed is getting ready to get together for sex. And she watching the whole scene like a movie. And I thought, wow. And sure enough, well, what was crazy, what should have never happened, is that Carol Scott, one of the ladies that got saved with us, she had a little car called a Triumph. You ever heard of the Triumph? It's a little tiny, itty-bitty sports car. Well, what would happen, we all would pile in, there'd be 6 of us in that car. And we'd be balled up in a knot over here, and this one over there, and this over here, and we laughing up a storm, piled in that little bitty car. By the time we parked at the church, all these folks, you think, how did they get in that car? We were worse than sardines in a can. And so that, number one, I would have said that's not a good thing to do. Brother Reed is in that car. He's the only man in the car. So it's all of us as women. We walk in there, but Joe and Brother Reed somehow got meshed together in that car. That's why I tell brothers and sisters, don't pick up no sister off the road. I don't care if it is raining. Call somebody. That's right. You learn over the years. You got to watch the devil. The devil is an opportunist. He's going to take advantage of it. And so we get to church, and Brother Reed, he's pumped all up. He's got muscles. He's a nice-looking, young, strong man. And Joe, she's a fairly decent-looking lady, but she's got this old man. And this old man can't take care of business. Now, that's a horrible place to be in, because now you physically got these needs and the body's acting a fool. If you get close to God, the body will lay down and be quiet. But she didn't. In Germany, we had what we call the maid's room in the basement. And so everybody didn't have it, but some people's apartment had a maid's room. So you go downstairs, there was a room down there you could store things or whatever. They hadn't even talked, but they was making plans. He never said nothing to her. She never said nothing to him. But they were so heated till Joe started fixing up the maid's room downstairs, put a bed in there, put a blanket, and everything that you need if you're getting ready to make love to somebody. This ain't love. This is just sex. So she had everything ready. I mean, she was so far out. You can't get that far out with sex. Sex will throw you over in the river. And because we'd rather be thrown in the river than to back up from it. And so she had everything set and ready to go. You hear it? If you don't find that this week, me and you are not going to get along. So anyway, by the time they finally made the phone call and made arrangements to meet in that room. The Lord moved that wall and said, look at here, Sister Gibbon, look at this. And she called her in, said, I need to see you and Brother Reed. Got him in. Both of them broke down and cried. They was at the point they couldn't stop. You can't go to that point. See, when you're dealing with sex, you don't wait until, say, I'm not going to have sex, but I went on and took my blouse off and my pants off, but I'm not going to have sex. By the time you start disrobing, you're getting ready to have sex. It's a step by step. That's why these people come to me and tell me, I made a mistake. It just happened. It didn't just happen. You have a lot of things you're doing to make that happen. We looked at each other. We felt something when we did it. We continued to look at each other. Went here, went there. Okay, now I'm at the point where I don't put a bed in. You're going to have sex. You're not talking about it. Your mind is consumed with it. You've seen this brother. He's seen you. We meshed in the car together. What was he meshed up against? Nobody said nothing. See, I would have said, baby, that's a bad move. Don't get in that car. Don't get in that car. You can't afford to get meshed up with a man in a car. Come on. Have some common sense before you even get God sense. Common sense tells me that's not a good position. Don't put yourself in that place. So it's got to be diagnosed. This is sin. If God had not showed it to Juanita, they would have went all the way. Well, it happened to Juanita one time. My lady went me to the Lord. She was married. Sergeant Gibbon was one of the nicest men you could ever meet. Weighed about 300 pounds, a little over 6 feet tall, nice-looking man, big man. But he did not like to have sex. And so she said, it didn't really matter, Rose, before I got saved because I always kept a man on the side. So if Bill don't want to have sex, he going to tip it. Whew. He's going to tip in the bedroom when Juanita's in the bed. Ooh, she had me laughing so much about that man. And he just came and told me, he said, Mr. Banks, he said, I'm just not a man into sex. I said, I understand, Sergeant Gibbon. There's some men like that. He said, it's not that I don't love my wife. I'm just not into sex. Okay. And Juanita tantalized that man. So she go get in the bed and turn over like she's asleep because he ain't coming in that room until he knows she's asleep. So what he does, he's big now, but he's light on his feet. So Juanita's on her side like she's asleep with the cover, and he's coming in tipping around the bed. Because he don't want her to wake up. She's not asleep. She's going to tantalize him. So he tips on around, and he gets to his side of the bed, and he lays down real slow. So he's laying down real slow, and he pulls the cover over him, and Bill says, and Juanita said, her sweet name for him was like, Mia. And so she said, Mia. He said, Juanita, leave me alone. Leave me alone. And then he told Juanita, I'm not getting ready to try to heat up your cold box. You can forget it. I'm giving you a little forefront on this. So she gets saved, and she goes to church. I still can't understand how in the world did her and Brother Trippy get together. Brother Trippy, one of the ugliest he looked like a little monkey. And Juanita said, Brother Trippy, that's why I don't believe in sisters and brothers getting in cars together. You better diagnose that. Do not ride with them. If it ain't family, don't mix the sexes. It's not good. And so Brother Trippy would take Juanita home. And so She said her and Brother Trippett, at first they just kind of talked and they touched each other and done all that. Well, they kept doing this. Well, you can't keep playing with sex. If you keep going here and never reach there, you're going to be going stone crazy. You know, I got to at least get to the top here. So they're never getting to the top. So now Juanita, she's spaced out. Brother Trippett is spaced out. Now, they both in the church. And so he would drop off, and they was both just heated up from in the car, touching and whatever. They kissed each other. So they kept doing it. Now, God should have been able to tell somebody that what was going on. So now, Brother Trippett gets sick because he done went up part of the way on the mountain and never got to the top. And he said, I can't take it no more. I can't take it. So Brother Trippett gets sick. They put Brother Trippett in the hospital. So they call the saints in. They always do that. Call the saints in. Brother Trippett's in the hospital. He's sick. Brother Trippett laying in the bed. I wouldn't do a dog like this. I wouldn't do a dog like this. So he has kept turning his head. He had a temperature. Wouldn't do a dog like this. So pretty soon, one of the saints went over to the bed where he was at and said, Brother Trippett, we praying for you. He said, Sister Given. They said, you want Sister Given? See, Sister Given. Because Juanita didn't go to the hospital. As they called, when they said, we got Brother Trippett here. He's real sick. He's calling for you. He said, Sister Given. So they said, Sister Given, you need to get up here to the hospital. Well, she's scared to go because she knowing that this ain't looking good. She gets to the hospital, and she leans over to Brother Trippett's ear and say, I'm here. Thinking that's going to show. He said, Sister Given. Then she said, be quiet, I'm here. He said, but I wouldn't do a dog like this. I mean, this man's in the game. So think about this. If somebody don't diagnose the lust early enough, that's how it gets to that point. So if you're not stopped before the devil develops it, before he literally puts this thing on fire, you cannot say no when the fire is going. Well, that was in the car that night. They was getting ready to have sex. I forgot about that part. They was getting ready to have sex in the car that night. They had gone so far. She said this huge hand came down out the sky. She said, Rose, I've never seen a hand that big in my life. She said, that hand came down out the sky and said, if you do, I'll kill you. And she said, I was so scared I jumped out the car. God saved her life. But you don't need to go that far. So I watch people. You don't need to come up to me and always shake my hand if I'm of the opposite sex. Move on. Brothers, let's let brothers and sisters go. You know, standing there holding each other's hand talking. Forget that crap. Move on. What are you talking about? What do you have to say? So then me as a pastor has to say, you got a spirit of lust. You better get rid of that because it's going to kill you. When lust is conceived, it brings forth. When sin is finished, it brings forth sin. When sin is finished, it brings forth death. You're not going to have lust for the opposite sex and say, oh, I'm okay. At some point, you're going to step over that line. Lust is a powerful spirit. It controls you. You don't control it. See? So you got to say no. I got to get rid of the spirit so I don't go down that way. If every man is tempted when he's led away of his own lust, if he gets rid of the spirit of lust, he won't be there. Somebody better tell you that. That's why I watch this church close. Say, you know, brother so-and-so is always up in sister so-and-so's face. What's that about? What are you talking about? Move on. You don't have time for that. And the devil says, he just keeps making you do, hi, how you doing? Boy, you sang that song tonight. You know, I come to church just to hear you sing. That's the devil in a very sneaky, nasty, underhanded way. Don't get close to the opposite sex. Say, you know, that church boy, they got mad with me about that. I mean, can sisters and brothers talk? No. No, they need to separate. They need to move on. The devil takes them on a trip off of nothing. It don't even have to be anything big. You better watch it, because that little bug right there, if you as the leader don't go in there and pick that out and get rid of it, it's going to take their life. You can't get rid of it. So if you want to be free, quit putting yourself in a position that binds you up. Quit doing things or saying things to the opposite sex. Move on. And all of a sudden look at you like, hey, well, what's wrong? I just said hello. Get on out. That hello leads to a whole lot of other hellos. See? So it's my job to say, okay, you got leprosy. Sin. Leprosy is symbolic of sin. That's what it is. Leprosy would eat you up so bad till your whole limbs would fall off. It would eat up everything. You don't want to be connected with that. Get back from it. It's contagious. That's what I told Tashana the other day. I said, don't ever get with a heathen. The scripture says, least you be contaminated, because bad communication corrupts good manners. You don't want to do that. Stay away from people that ain't saved. Stay away from people that's drinking. Stay away from people that's doing drugs. Stay away from people. If you stay with them, you're going to do it, no matter what you say. I was talking to somebody about food in the house, and it says, no use of bringing it in if I'm not supposed to eat it. Why would I go to the grocery store and buy cookies, chips, and everything fattening and put it in the cabinet? Why would you do that? Because you want to eat it. But if you're saying, I don't want to eat that, quit bringing it in. Stop bringing it in. So when you look in your cabinet, nothing is there for you to get fatter. That's the truth. So quit going there. But it's like a person who's an alcoholic and surrounds themselves with alcohol or beer, whatever. Come on. If you keep surrounding yourself with it, one day you're going to want some more. Because you know what it tastes like. So I'm going to be drawn back to it. I know what it makes me feel like. Man is about feelings of the flesh. That's all he's about. And you're trying to keep him from it. To diagnose you is to identify that you have a problem. By examination. The word examines you. And it tells you where you are. That's why I got Eric the other night. He's sitting there looking at me like, well, I'm teaching the class. Look. I'm thinking, you pissed off with me? Are you kidding me? I mean, so just like this. Because I done told his wife some truth. Well, all you did was put yourself in the basket to get told the truth too. You didn't save yourself, honey. You got dumped right in there too. Here's the truth. I told you, Sister Rose, I've been working hard 7 days a week, and so. And I said, since you finished, let me tell you what I'm talking about. It ain't got nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. You got a problem. And you have made me your problem. You shouldn't make me your problem. Make me a problem, you're really in trouble. It's not going to work. But the word examines you. The spirit of discernment discerns where you at. You got a problem with me. And what you got a problem about? Truth. Here it is. We're not moving it. We're not changing it. We don't care if you like it. Here it is. See? So the identification of the nature or cause of a certain phenomenon. So what caused this? So that you don't go back down in this place again. What caused this? What brought about this problem? What position were you in? Brother Reed and Sister Joe was in a bad position. You don't put yourself in a position for the devil to have something to build off of. See? So you got to identify it and reach a conclusion or decision by the diagnosis that this is bad. It can kill you. So when you have a plague of leprosy, it's a rare but serious bacterial infection that's transmitted by fleas. Can you believe that? Fleas from your dog, from your cat. Okay? A contagious bacterial disease characterized by fever and delirium, typically with the formation of buboes. And that is, it can be deadly. It can be transmitted from rats by means of the bites of fleas. And Cliff was telling me the other day, the only reason fleas don't stay on humans long because they always hide out wherever hair is. That's why they do dogs and cats. So you may not have a lot of hair for the devil to work with, but he gets into every little area of your life. And you see it so plain, you think, wow. But sometimes I'm hesitant to tell people when I first see it because it's so little. I try to give them a little time to at least they recognize that something is wrong and say, now I've been watching this. Here's what's wrong. You got to get rid of that. It's going to destroy you. The devil comes to kill and to destroy. See? If you come into close contact with unsaved people, you're going to be contaminated. You're going to pick up sin. That's why he said, come out from among them. Be ye separate, saith the Lord. Don't touch the unclean thing, and I'll receive you. But come out from among them. You cannot run with the world and people that's doing drugs and people that's partying and people that's at the club. If you want your life to change, you got to change the environment where you are. See? Leprosy is one of the most oldest human diseases on the planet. It still exists to this day, just in other countries, but it's still there. Occasionally you will hear of somebody getting leprosy in the United States. Very horrible disease. So, and it attacks you, and when it attacks you, it does a lot of damage. That's why we can't let the devil just take over. He attacked me. You better beat that. Because if the devil came to you and attacked you, unless you get rid of it instantly, it's going to begin to have an effect on you. That's why you start looking funny, acting funny, strange. That's why. He attacked you, and you just kind of let it go. Can't just let it go. Sin is the thing that sets out to destroy man, to eat up your life, to put you in a bad situation. Listen, I've seen it before it ever got to you, and I say, you better watch that. You better watch that one. What did you just say? Sometimes I get to what people talking, they say something, I say, what did you just say? Oh, that's not good. It's not good. Get away from that. I hear a lot from people when they start running their mouth. And I just on. What did you just say? You poison. That's what that is. And it's eating away at your life. And God has put a leader in place to diagnose your situation. Listen to your leader. Listen to him. This is sin is the derangement of disorder of the soul as sickness is to the body. It's going to attack your soul. That's the spirit part of you. It is an inward disorder showing itself in some outward manifestation of a displeasing or painful character. So it's going to manifest itself. But it's a problem that's within. It's not external, it's internal, but it manifests itself externally. That's how you know you're going to die. Get ready. So I'm going to listen. I'm going to pray. I'm going to stay in a place that God can teach me. Show me where I'm at, what I need to do. Don't go down that road. Listen. Sarah said that I don't know how many times. Listen. Hear, O Israel. That was the first thing God said to me. Hear me. And now when you hear it, do it. Because if you don't, He's going to tear you up. After so many years of being saved, you recognize things very quickly. And if a leader's praying, if the leader is seeking God, they're going to recognize that that's not good for you. There it is again. You're going to get it. Leprosy is a stubborn disease. It doesn't turn loose. It's stubborn. It hangs on. That's what sin does to you. You have to nip it in the bud. No, I'm not doing that. Like that lustful fool that Liz and them brought here, set up here on the road. I thought, honey, do you understand? If the devil got you on a dead-end street, Sister Rose don't go to bed with nobody but my Bible. Are you a dumb fool? Don't sit there calling the church. I just got to hear a voice. You ain't hearing my voice. The next voice you hear going to tell you you're going to hell. I got your voice all right. Don't even come in. I'm 73 years old. You sitting there looking like an old dried up piece of shuck. And why in the world? If I was looking for somebody, you wouldn't be on the list. It's incomprehensible to me. I'm thinking, no. I need to hear her voice. You got it, buddy. My voice is truth. I got time for that garbage. Then he left a message. He asked Sister Rose to call me. I called. I said, yes, what is it? What I'm saying to you, I don't feel like being bothered, but what is it? You know what I told my daughter? I said, you know why these preachers get in trouble? They give them signs to come on. I gave him a sign, don't even try, brother. You the dumbest fool on the planet. Are you kidding me? Ain't nothing sweeter than laying in my bed with the word every night. You think I want your dried up tail in there? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I ain't struggling with no lust demon. I'm sorry. That ain't going to happen, buddy. And when I recognized who he was and what he was doing, and he constantly looking, I'm thinking, set your face. This ain't the one, brother. And then he said, well, you have Sister Rose to call me. I called. I said, what is it? You don't call and say, hi. What? I was told that you said call you. No. What is it? Well, you just about scared me to death when you told me. When you told me that I was going to die, I said, I didn't tell you that. I said, I told you better get your life right because you don't know when you're going to die. That's what I told you. Well, Sister Rose, he gets rubbed now. I'm going to tell you, I love God. I said, you don't love God. I said, you're sitting around here lusting after women. I didn't put myself in it. Lusting after women. And you love God? Give me a break. No, you don't love him. Because if you love him, you do what he says. You're not doing it. So shut up. Last time I talked to him, I said, no, you don't love God, brother. I can tell you that right now. And if you don't change your life, you're going straight to hell. I'll talk to you later. Goodbye. He ain't called me since. So when you see these preachers messing up with women in the church and men and out here lusting and having sex outside their marriage and doing all this garbage, this is uncalled for. Get rid of the thing, the seed, that little bug that's traveling in your body. Get rid of it. The thing that you said in your own mind is just a little thing. Sin grows. It gets more intense. You got to stop it ahead of time. I'm not going there. Put on the right kind of clothes. Ain't nothing worse than somebody got a wrinkled cleavage and got the thing cut down here. Come on, for God's sake. Look in the mirror. If it folds up, it's time out. Yes. Whoa. Yes. These grannies still trying to dress young and look feisty. Your days are over. The fire is gone. You're not getting ready to do anything. Thank God for victory. Thank God for a good life and move on. Enjoy old age and what it brings. It means you go to sleep at night alone. That's right. It's a bunch of crap. If you want to make me uptight, just come in with that. It's happened a few times since Charles has been gone. I told that preacher one time in the church, he had all kind of issues. I mean, devil had him on a sex trip with me. I just went to him. It's hard for me to go to people when it's about me. And I finally had to go to the preacher. I said, Brother Johnson, this spirit you got, the devil is playing you for the biggest fool on the planet. You're on a dead-end street. It's leading you nowhere. This preacher, don't go to bed with anybody. I said, don't let him make a fool out of you. It's not going to happen with me. But if you don't get rid of that spirit of lust, it's going to happen with somebody. And sure enough, it did. I was on vacation, come back. Some woman, he had a wife and 2 boys. I mean, come on. Just what I said if you don't get rid of it, it won't be me, but it will be somebody. These preachers are doing what they want to do. They're full of lust and sin, and they do all this crap. When I tell you you got something, go ahead and deal with it. You got a disease, son. Miss, you're messed up. Take that. Nobody's trying to pick at you. We're trying to tell you the truth. Here it is. Change it. You can do it.
Keep me sanctified. Lord, please.
Say that out of your heart to God. Keep me sanctified. Please keep me, God.
Lord, please.
Keep me sanctified. Ikarabo handario sata.
I say, Lord.
Ashandarabo si. Hirabo hai.
Living holy.
Keep me, God. Keep me,